All right, let's talk about something a little different. So, chances are, if you had a gun spec'd out by me, you're probably not going to get a double feed because you're probably using good magazines, a good upper, a good barrel, and a good bolt carrier group. That's going to be the reason why you'll have a double feed. Honestly, mostly the magazines. And as long as you're using like PMAX or Lancers or something, you're probably going to be okay. Your mileage may vary because of tolerance stacking. We can talk about that. If you can send me a DM, we'll talk about it. But the most likely reason that you didn't that you hear a click and not a bang. So if you feel mush, it's probably a double feed. But if you hear a click and not a bang, so look, mag's out, bolt's closed. If you hear that click, it's probably because there's nothing in your chamber, right? Or the cartridge in the chamber is dead. So when we do that, we hear that click. What I want you to do is tap the bottom and run the action. You saw nothing came out because the chamber was empty. Another reason why you might have an empty chamber is a failure to actually seat the magazine. So you got to imagine, the gun. Hear that click? That's how the magazine's seated. But if it's like this, right? See how nothing's coming out? It's because it's not seated all the way. So a good way to mitigate that is when you're actually reloading, push in, pull out. We call it push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. And that's that way. I know my magazine's seated all the way. So look, chamber's in there. So I'm gonna do it again. Click, click, push, pull, action. And that's gonna work for you most of the time. We call that tap rack, reassess, push, pull, bang, whatever you wanna call it. But it's the official term is immediate action because that's the quickest thing you can do to get your gun back in the fight. We'll talk about some more stuff in just a second. So we've talked about some things that can fix those on the range in a gunfight. Lord forbid it's never actually a gunfight because fuck that. Something that we can do with our gear to help mitigate those problems is actually only load them to 1 minus whatever the magazine says. So like, this is a Lancer 20. It's got some 77 grain in there. And you can see it's pretty stiff. But see how much room I have in that magazine to push down? Because you gotta think, it's gotta actually hit the bolt right there in the bottom where you can see it. So, and see, even then, I didn't get it the first time. You gotta be vicious with these. The 20s are more problematic than the 30s, but it's loaded at 19. And when I have my 30s, this is just dummy rounds, but these are always loaded to 29. So when I run that mag, I know. So to recap about the malfunctions in the guns we have today, first things first, load your mags down 1. Some guys even download 2. Next thing, push pull on the magazine when it goes in. Remember, push pull, push pull. And if you get a click, no bang, tap rack, push pull, rack, whatever works for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. If you have a problem with your magazines, we can probably get that fixed real quick. If you have some old magazines, we'll change the guts. I remember one of my students, we did that with his, and it seemed to work pretty fine. So just reach out if you have any questions. Thank you for staying tuned. If you happen to listen through all of this, I want to thank you for the support. You can check out my YouTube channel at Stride Research. Just hit me up, drop me a line. Let's get to work.